Hey Hippler, I think I found your leak. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer, everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, look, it's like midnight, okay? I want to thank this viewer right here, XOX Silent Tree. No, Silent Realm. See, it's late. Silent Realm XOX. Thank you for this comment. Over on Lawyer You Know, there was an FBI guy talking to him about Karen Reed, and he's slipping up some things, very possibly. So he mentions that he was working on the Kohberger case at one point. Okay, because he makes it very clear he's no longer. And then he says a few minutes later something about solving a very important quadruple homicide with the SIM card from a vehicle. So I'm just going to let this play, and I'll have a link for it down in the description box. This is interesting.
Have so much cellular data that's being used to map where cars go, where people are, casing joints, undercover FBI bumps, undercover recordings. Have you heard of those three cases?
I have. I would be far more familiar with the Kohberger case because of my role prior to leaving.
Oh, you did some work on that? Or you're not allowed to say? You're saying just because of where you were at the time. Okay, we'll pick up what you're putting down.
No one ever obtained Karen Reed's Lexus vehicle cellular SIM module, and we would have seen cell phone records from her vehicle. And I think you're going to see some of these things from cases as we move forward of what did the SIM card from the vehicle, which is that SIM card's being used to send data sessions and reports of diagnostics back to Lexus, Toyota, Ford, Mercedes, so they get to see what's happening in your car from their perspective, so they can send, things out of recalls and whatnot. But I've solved a very important homicide case, quadruple homicide, with a SIM card from a vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the type of stuff where, I always assume Big Brother's watching.
Now I cut out some of the stuff in between. A lot of it is in there when it comes to him describing what this is. It's basically like the piece in your vehicle that reports back to your dealer. When my video for the problem with my Honda comes out at some point this weekend, because I'm still in the middle of recording it, you're going to understand why sometimes this is useless, because it's supposed to be for being able to report back to the dealer about problems with the vehicle so they can figure out recall information and all of this according to this guy. So when he's sitting here saying, yeah, my place on the Kohberger case before, whenever I was working on it, basically, not verbatim, but y'all heard it. And then a few minutes later, I solved a very important quadruple homicide with the SIM of a vehicle. I mean, it sort of looked like it went straight over Peter's head. Maybe he caught it after the fact. Maybe they had a discussion about it after the fact. But this guy is no longer working the Kohberger case and coming out here and saying things like that, literally smack dab in the middle of all this crazy special prosecutor investigation for the gag order. And now all of Judge Hippler's bullshit, acting like, oh, I know I said it was more like the prosecution side, but now it could just be anyone. I'm telling you now, and I said this in my live. And he basically already foretold this, because he's like, there's a big possibility that it'll never get solved. I think they know. And I think they know it's going to look bad on them, and something really bad could happen to their case if the truth came out. So they're just not going to tell us. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But this guy just willy-nilly out here admitted he was not only working on the Kohberger case, but then said something. What other case is an important quadruple homicide? I mean, there's literally cases all over the place that are horrible just like this that are getting zero attention. So what other case could he possibly be talking about? So if that's the case, then that's going to be really crazy, because that would be information that Cyray wouldn't have, is stuff from the vehicle. Because his is just cell phone data. And the way that it works with cell phone towers, it wouldn't have anything to do with the SIM card in a vehicle in the way that it speaks to the dealership. So that's going to be really interesting, especially if the truth is that the phone doesn't put him there. Because then how is the car putting him there? And I feel like that would be something that somebody who's working on this stuff would know, because it's still part of data forensics. So I don't know. He doesn't exactly say it. But whenever you're sitting there again admitting that this is a case that you worked on, and then you're like, oh, an important quadruple homicide, I solved it with a SIM card. There's like no other thing that people are going to think but that you're talking about this case. Now, I will add that I found this result on Bing, on Microsoft Bing, when I asked if the 2015 Hyundai Elantra has a SIM card that connects to the dealer. And it says it does not have a SIM card that connects to the dealer. However, it does have an SD card for the nav system, but I could have sworn that the one that we saw, like when it comes to the Indiana traffic stops, it didn't really look at all like he had a navigation system. I mean, it could, and it just have a really tiny screen, but it literally had like a CD slot. It didn't look like he had a navigation system whatsoever. So this is interesting, considering what this guy is claiming, the way he's putting the sentences together. But I figured I'd put this in here because, you know, we look at all things. But yeah, that's really it. I'm going to go ahead and just like play this again.
I would be far more familiar with the Kohberger case because of my role prior to leaving. I've solved a very important homicide case, quadruple homicide, with a SIM card from a vehicle.
I just find it insane. I'm wondering if they know that this guy's out here saying stuff. Anyway, let me know what you guys are thinking about this down in the comments. Do you think he's talking about this case when he says that? Because I don't really see how he couldn't be. But again, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that that notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.